Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life, and this article is straight from AT&T.com. I'll leave a link to it in the description so you guys can check it out. So I want to give credit where credit's due. AT&T is clearly invested in loading up on more spectrum, which many have desired because they were a bit behind the competition on total mid-band spectrum. The problem with this is AT&T is looking to achieve the lowest cost per bit. So AT&T is willing to overspend and spend billions on loading up on spectrum versus densifying the network. That's a big problem. So there might be some DAS systems, indoor solutions that are rather required, but AT&T would rather add more spectrum on the site that's closest. That's a problem. That needs to be corrected, in my opinion, inside at AT&T. They need to shift more to a strategic balance where, yes, we invest in spectrum, but we also still densify. We've talked about that in many videos now, but it's become more of a point recently because AT&T is saying in its articles that this newfound spectrum that they invested $23 billion in could lead to site avoidance and cost cutting. So site avoidance meaning they may have planned densification in a given market, but now that they have this newfound spectrum that they purchased, they no longer have to add those sites. So there's a bit of a disconnect there, and I just kind of wanted to talk about that today as we head through the rest of this month, and AT&T finishes up adding in the DoD spectrum from EchoStar, which they have now leased and will eventually own with approval sometime next year. But for now, it's being put on air. It's a software upgrade. They're putting it on air. They're not waiting. They got approval for that from the FCC that they can lease. It was said so in the Dish release when the deal was announced that it's up for lease. They're not holding it hostage anymore. It's leased. You take it. You use it. So, and in the meantime, Dish is going to get payment for that. They're going to get paid for the lease. And then, of course, they're going to get paid for the overall transaction, the $23 billion. So AT&T, I think they need a shift a bit in network strategy. But until they prioritize wireless a bit more, that's what we're going to get. We're going to get a network that AT&T is putting together that is always going to be with the lowest cost to achieve in mind. That's just what it is today. And if there's sites that you guys know are needed, AT&T may never get to them, especially if they continue to load up on spectrum. And there's more spectrum coming eventually in the pipeline. And if AT&T continues to load up, especially on the higher frequencies, that's going to be a roller coaster ride. We'll eventually be back to a Sprint-like network when they first deployed 2.5. It was roller coaster. 1 minute you were on 2.5, and the next minute you were back down to PCS. And that's the direction AT&T's heading in, unless they make drastic change. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.